What's going on? Welcome, welcome. This is, this is the Sharp Note, uh, episode 4. Um, it is currently January 10th, 2025. So this episode will be up on the 11th. Am I correct in saying that? Yes, the 11th. Um, at noon, like normal. Um, yeah, same shit going on, I guess. Just, music and life, as always. Um, was pretty busy this past week. I will be pretty busy next week. I'm going to be pretty busy every week for the next few months, and then probably the months after that, and then yeah. But um, just full schedule, a lot going on, a lot of things that take time. So I need it. Yeah, it's just, but that's good. It's good that I'm not. It's good that I'm busy. Um, anyway, I have a couple things planned to talk about this episode. Um, but I don't know. I'm, low stress with these podcasts. Uh, yeah, hope y'all's week has been good. Anyone who's tuning in to listen to this, I hope y'all have had a good week. It has been cold. Oh my gosh. All right. This week it stormed and it snowed and it iced over and I had ice on my windshield and I had to get it off. I had to drive with ice on my windshield. Oh man. Um, See, I got snowed in a little bit, and it's supposed to snow again tonight, starting kind of late though. So I'm recording this now, and then gonna upload it, um, and then it'll be out tomorrow. And so y'all will be listening to this over the weekend, I guess. Whoever happens to listen to this, or you're listening to this much later after this episode came out. But anyway, um, yeah. Hopefully, don't get too snowed in this weekend with this storm. But the other day kind of got missed a day or two. That's not the worst in the world, snow days. But anyway, it has been cold, um, like freezing cold. Not like negatives or anything. No, not even in the single digits, just 20s, I think. It's been in the, yeah, yeah. The lows have been, the lows have been in the teens, Fahrenheit, not Celsius. I'm American. Some freedom units out here. Um, Yeah, neither here nor there. Just weather, life. Uh, so, all right. Well, one of the things I was going to talk about this video. So it's now 2025. Last episode was the first episode of 2025. So this is the second episode of 2025. The fourth episode overall that I've ever made with this podcast. So I don't know. I might do like 100 episodes in the future. Or I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this for. But by the end of this year, I'll have about 50 something episodes. If I'm doing one a week, 50 odd episodes, something like that. That'll be cool. Um, but anyway, so the plans I have for 2025, I have multiple albums I want to finish up this year, and whether or not I release them this year, I don't know, but I want to work on them. And there's just one I want to release on this YouTube channel. I think I talked about it last episode. Um, there's one I want to release on this channel. I'm still working on it. There is 10 tracks. I need 11. And yeah, so I got to figure out that last track. And then I got to remix one and then remaster the whole thing. And yeah, we'll see how long it takes me to get this shit out. All right, so today is the 10th. Tomorrow, this video will be up on the 11th. I will try to have this album done in I'll try to have it done by the end of January. That gives me 3 weeks. Yeah, and then February 1st is a Saturday. So today, 4, 5, 6, 7. February 1st will be the Sharp Note episode 7. I'll tell you what, when the Sharp Note episode 7 comes out, I will also drop that album. So 3 weeks. 3 weeks. By the time 3 weeks from the time this episode comes out, episode 4. So today, episode 4 will be out on the 11th of January 2025. February 1st, 2025, I will release the Sharp Note episode 7, as well as this album I'm working on. I don't know. Encoding overloaded. What the heck? Okay, we're fine. That was weird. I don't know. What was I about to say? I can't even remember. I lost my train of thought now. Anyway, so fourth episode of the Sharp Note will be out on the 11th. I haven't recorded these obviously, but sometime next week I'll record and upload episode 5, which will come out on the 18th. And then episode 6 will come out on the 25th. I'll record that sometime that week. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm just making these up as I go, really. Like every week, I just write down like some things I want to talk about, and then I just turn on the shit and I start recording. I grab my microphone and so yeah, that'll be cool. That'll give me 3 weeks to work on that album. I'll get that album done. It's only 11 tracks. I say album. It's like an EP, kind of. I don't know, like officially what the album EP. I mean, it's essentially just an album, but it's not. It's like a. It might be like 20 or 30 minutes total. Probably, probably closer to 30 minutes. Yeah, I guess it would be counted as an album because of just the length of it. It's probably closer to 40 minutes at this point. Nah, it's probably around 30 minutes. So it's like I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what it ends up the total time being. I don't know yet. Because again, I still have to produce this other track for it, which I have some tracks already produced that I could like slide in there in that one spot, but none of them I'm like really happy with that I want to like put on this album. Like, feel like I have to do something just brand new and to put on this album. So I'll produce it soon, and then I'll remix and remaster everything. And yeah, February 1st. I think that's a good, gives me enough time to do everything, get it done decently well. I'm not the best at mixing and mastering, or even just composing or production in general. I'm not the best by any stretch, no matter like any by any aspect. But I can do something. I think this album. I think it's pretty good. I think it's not bad. It's vibey. Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it gets received. But I think that'll be cool. That'll be like the first official project or first like full project that I come out with on this YouTube channel. And I'll try to get it on like streaming services as well, but I'm not stressing about that. I just want it like out there on like at least YouTube and I don't know. Yeah, I'll try to get it out on streaming services too though. But I don't know how I want to do that. So there's a couple different ways I can do that. So like cuz you need to go through a distributor of some kind. So what a lot of like indie artists do is DistroKids, but I don't know if I want to do DistroKids. Like I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that. There's this other one called CD Baby, which I think is I don't know. I might do that one. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, um, yeah. And I've just got other projects I'm working on, but that's the main one that I'm gonna try to do. And then these other ones I'll do later this year. So I may come out with one like, oh, actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, by summertime, let's say June, I'll come out with this other album. But I'm not gonna post it on this YouTube channel. Um, but yeah, June I'll come out with this other album, or I'll put it on. I don't know something. Um, and I'll just have more music by then anyway on like this YouTube channel too. Yeah, and I just started this one, quote unquote, started this one. That I'm gonna. It should be kind of cool. And that'll be the one that I'll probably come out with later, and then I have this other one. I don't know. Yeah, I got multiple things I'm planning, but anyway, not neither here nor there. Um, I know I'm just rambling about nothing right now. Um, another thing I wanted to talk about was it's honestly pretty crazy how accessible things are now, like especially media. Because, for instance, like back in the day, even just like 40, 50 years ago, if you wanted to listen to music, you had to, Walkmans didn't exist yet. So you would go to a show to listen to music, or you would like bring your own instrument and you would play it yourself, or you would put on a vinyl record or some shit. And then eventually, like cassettes came out and 8 track came out. I don't know, other technologies, but and then like 100 years ago, you didn't even really hardly have vinyl records. You had some, but not like 1920s. You had some vinyl records, but like 1800s, they weren't a thing. Not yet, anyway. Or it's still being developed. So think about like, all right, 200 years ago, 1820. Yeah, the only thing you had were like you would pick up a guitar and you would start playing yourself, or you would go to a show. But now, you just at your fingertips, you have essentially an infinite amount of media that you could. begin watching today, and you would never you could die. You could never stop for thousands and thousands and really millions of years, and you would never get through all of it. I don't even know how much media is on the internet right now, and it's just at our fingertips. And like, think about all the music that you can listen to. That all right, understand this. So you're you as a human right now, your range of music that you have heard is far more vast than any other human that existed, like, again, even like 50 or 100 years ago, because of the accessibility. Because you can go on YouTube right now and have just a bunch of free new music that you've never heard before. You can find new genres, you can look it up, you can go Google it. But like, even 30, 40 years ago, in order to hear new music, you had to either watch TV, listen to the radio. Okay, yeah. Actually, my bad. That was a thing. Yes, you could listen to the radio. That was where a lot of people got their news and their um, music. I forgot about that radio. Duh. But and think about the radio network that they had back in the day. Oh my gosh, it was so many people, and it was so full of just music and all types of stuff. Um, and different shows, talk shows. Ah, man, they really had a lot on the radio. Well, think about all that's on the internet right now, and that's essentially what the radio was back in the day, like the radio network and the phone network and whatnot, and the cable TV network. Like, it just transitioned from all that stuff, those through like different technologies, and they all consolidated onto the internet. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, again, like, your range of music that you have heard is far more vast, or it's far more like, what am I trying to say? It's just more broad than a human who existed even like 50 years ago, except for like young humans, because young humans 50 years ago are still living now, like 60-year-olds when they were 10, 50 years ago. But when they were 10 years old, their accessibility to different medias was so much more difficult than our accessibility now, because now all you need is internet access, which there's free internet access all over the place. You go to McDonald's, there's free internet access, and you just need a device. So even a simple device like a simple laptop, a few $100 for a laptop, and you can, I mean, you've got it all. And then you get like a decent pair of headphones, plug into that laptop, and you can, like, literally, like, all right, when people say you can produce a whole album off a laptop, yes, you can. Like, it's very possible. You just get a DAW of some kind and get a decent pair of headphones or a decent pair of like studio monitors, like some speakers, and you just so you can hear the sound properly. You don't want like anything too crazy, because when you get a setup that is too crazy, it's great sound and all, but the people who are listening to your music are not listening to it on a sound system anywhere near that. They're listening to it in their car or off their phone or through some AirPods. So that, in my experience and in my opinion, that is the best way to mix and master, is to reference it off of, use some good speakers too. Like, don't just use shit and never listen to your beat or your song on a good set of speakers and then call it done. Like, you should listen to it on a good set of speakers at some point, but you should also listen to it on bad sets of speakers. Like, yeah, that's the best way to mix and master, because you want to know what it would sound like on a bad set of speakers. Um, and each set of speakers is going to sound slightly different. Like, each company is going to create a different sounding speaker. and each model is going to sound a little bit different from model to model. I don't know. Anyway, so but yeah, let me get back to my point though. Yeah, there's just all this stuff right at our fingertips, and so like just walking down the street listening to music, right? You can just get on your phone, pick what song from mi- I probably built trillions, even billions, if not trillions of songs. An infinite, what am I trying to say here? Like realistically, it is close to an infinite amount of stuff. It is finite. It is technically you could like there is not an infinite amount of information on the internet. It is finite, but like no one person could go through all of it. So to an individual, it is essentially infinite. So yeah. Anyway, and a lot of it is going to be pretty similar to one another. There are fundamental genres, and I was actually writing this down the other day. Like I was thinking about it. I was like, what would be the fundamental like music genres? And I think a handful of them would be like country, rap, pop, electronic. Like those are the fundamental music genres. I don't know how else to describe it, but basically it's just like any song that could possibly be made should be able to fit under a handful of music genres. You should be able to categorize it under one of those genres. So like electronic music is basically completely different from country music. So it's like okay, those are two like fundamental because the instruments are different, the sounds are different, the timings are different, tempo, the the only similarity is that it's sound, you know. And you'll have some similar like drum patterns because there's a finite amount of drum patterns and whatnot. So you'll have crossover stuff always because it's this is music we're talking about at the end of the day. It's all sound. It's just sound. So you will have crossover stuff from every genre, but there are those fundamental genres that are just like, okay, that's completely unique from this other one, which is completely unique from this other. It's like, and then there's subgenres of all those fundamental genres, of course. Like rock would be another uh, genre, like fundamental genre. I feel like ambient stuff. I feel like would be another fundamental genre because ambient stuff is just completely different. So yeah, I don't know. Um, it's just crazy how much is that at our fingertips. We live in a really unique time in history where like we just have so much available to us that I feel like it's harder to know what's good and what's bad truly because like you're seeing so much of this stuff and it's like I don't know, it's just like society says this is good. Like this has 1 million likes, whereas this only has 1,000 likes. But I think the post that has 1,000 likes is better than like that happens all the time. And of course it happens all the time. But um, anyway, I guess all I'm saying is it's hard to curate a good um, like taste. It's hard to curate a good taste in media in general, whether that be video, art, music, like movies. When I said video, like videos, like YouTube or like just podcasts or just media, all types of media, movies, TV shows. because there's so many different versions of everything. Like, all right, think about like, yeah, I don't know. So I try to curate, or I try to think about like what is objectively good music and what is like culturally significant, societally significant. So like, all right, I'm a huge Dilla fan, and I think is his impact on hip hop is crazy. Like, think of any producer that you know, and they know Dilla, and they have listened to Dilla, and I guarantee you they fuck with Dilla. I can almost guarantee that. And they Dilla's like one of their top producers. Any producer that is like hip hop, I guess anyway. Maybe not other genres. Other genres may not they may not know Dilla, but if you're a hip hop producer and you don't know Dilla, or you don't know RZA, or you don't know fucking Dre, I mean obviously a lot of people know Dr. Dre, but if you don't know him for his production, or if like who's another, I don't know, who are other producers? All right, like Kenny Beats, Metro Boomin, Mustard, those are the guys. Shit, I don't know. I mean, even Kanye. I mean, Kanye's huge though, and everybody knows him. That he's just a great producer. He's not a great person, but he's a great producer. Credit where credit's due. Um, yeah, huge Dilla fan, and his significance in rap is like I don't know if he necessarily fully changed the game, but he evolved the game. He evolved what hip hop could be, I guess, because and I don't even know how to describe it. It was just he was doing stuff. He was experimenting with hip hop that other people didn't really want to do at the time. Whereas like now people are kind of doing shit like that, but at the time people weren't really, I mean they wanted to do stuff like Dilla, they just didn't know how. Whereas like now we kind of understand how, I guess. I don't know. It was like it's hard to explain, but there's a handful of people who did shit like Dilla. Like no one produced like Dilla. I believe that hands down. There's no one who has been able to replicate what Dilla has done like perfectly. Um, Even myself, like we're all missing something. We're just not Dilla. We're not him. Um, but that's what we're missing is we're not him. We're missing him. He's dead, unfortunately. Very unfortunately. But anyway, so yeah, I try to listen to good artists like that and just study their music. Like what makes Dilla's beats so good, And I'll listen to. So I wanna, yeah, yeah. I'll just listen to. I want to find more of his beats and I want to listen to more, um, but I've listened to a bunch and I'll listen to them over and over and over again. And I'm like, I've gotten to the point now where I have a lot of them like fully memorized. Like you memorize a song, all the lyrics in a song. I've memorized all the beats, and like um, a handful, not all of them. And there's a ton that I haven't even heard before. But there are a handful that I've memorized, like the lyrics, the beats. It's just yeah, they're like some of my favorite songs. Um, but anyway, yeah, I try not to take it for granted because man, it's like well, even just being able to sit down and record this podcast, and then I'll upload it and y'all can go watch it. Like that is so unique. Whereas like any human before now would not have been able to do what I just did. Where I just kind of woke up and I started recording. Well, I took a shower and I got ready and threw some clothes on and shit. And then I just started recording, and I'm just chilling right now recording this. And I don't know, that's so you would not have been able to do that. I mean, no like individual person would have been able to do that like at any point in the past for like the year 2000 or whatever. I mean, they did, but it took a special person. Whereas like now, it doesn't take as like it's so easy now compared to 40, 50 years ago. And the technology is only getting better. And that's the thing. It's just technology, computers. They've just gotten so good now, and like digital stuff has just gotten so good. Whereas like analog, you had to do analog before because digital was just not up to par yet with analog. But now digital is up to par with analog, if not arguably better than analog. Because you have more control. You have like perfect control. You don't have perfect control with analog. You'll never have like absolutely perfect control. Um, but you do have a lot of control. But with digital, you, I mean, yeah, you have perfect control over the the speakers, pretty much. And it's really not rocket science. Like it's just oscillations, just forward and backward, forward and backward. So like you can see the speaker moving forwards and backwards. That oscillation of the speaker going moving forwards and backwards, that's the wave you see, when you see sound waves. And it's just creating a wave in the air. So it's just pushing air. And that's what you hear. You hear pushed air. That's what sound is. It's sound all sound is just air that was pushed. And like pulled as well, kind of. But yeah, it's just pushed air. And that pushed air vibrates or it like ripples through the atmosphere and through just things, solid objects even. That's why you can feel it in your chest. When you feel a fucking bass in your chest, it's because the sound wave is rippling through your body. Literally. Like it's literally rippling through your body. I don't know, man. It's not rocket science. People make it out to be way more complicated than what it actually is. And like even music theory, it's really not rocket science. Like it's on it's when people say, "Oh, music theory is just math." Yeah, it literally is just kind of math. It's just like, all right. Remember how it was like when you were a kid learning arithmetic? Like 9 plus 9 equals 18. That might have been difficult for you when you were like 5, right? But then by the time you were 10 years old, 9 plus 9 equals 18 made sense. But then when you were 10, 9 times 9 equals 81. I think you learned multiplication by the time you're 10. Yeah, I did. I did, but I don't know some. But you get my point. Like when you start doing algebra, and then like learning algebra is difficult, and then learning calculus is difficult. Learning geometry trig, like it. Don't get me wrong. Learning music theory is not easy, but it's just another section of math essentially. So it's just like think about it like that. It's just like the same way you learned algebra in high school, you can learn music theory. It's going to take a little bit for you to understand it, but it took me years really of like research and just reading things and like playing the piano and just practicing with it. And I was just teaching myself. But that's the thing. That's why it took me so long is because I was just teaching myself. And little by little, I wasn't like hardcore going full at it. But by the time I when I kind of figured it out, music theory, then I started going more hardcore. So like through 2024, um, I've produced a lot. I produced a lot of songs, and anyway, gone hard in the paint. Be out here. And honestly, the reason I've been going hard in the paint is because I feel like I've gotten to a point now where I feel like I've gotten to a point now where all right, so it was my goal, I guess. In I didn't even realize this was like a goal of mine. I've more so made this realization relatively recently, but I've always just been fascinated with just life and just things in general. So like I always and just art. I love art. Um, if you got a good artist or you got some good graphic art or some good music or some good like a good whatever video, I don't care what it is. Um, if you want to show it to me, shit, I love it all. Just whatever it is, I love it. I love the process behind it, the production behind it, the science, the engineering, the process, the procedures. Like it's all just fascinating to me. Um, so yeah, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so well, um, I want to get to the point where like I've essentially mastered all five senses, I guess. So like, all right, the five basic senses are sight, smell, taste, hearing, and feel, like touching. So essentially, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your ears, and your just body, like you touch things. So, essentially, what I mean by mastering all five senses is like, all right, by being able to make music and make work in a DAW, a digital audio workspace. I haven't mastered sound yet, but I'm learning more and I'm beginning. And like I know the quality of this podcast doesn't sound the best, but that's low key intentional. So I don't know. I'll improve it one day, but and like, all right, so the background of this podcast, I just have a, it's like very basic. I don't even have a thumbnail for the videos. I'm gonna make a thumbnail. I promise. I'm going to make it. I just haven't done it yet. And I'm gonna make a background for these videos. Or I'm gonna do something. I'm not sure what it is yet. But right now it's just the Ubuntu background, the squid or the jellyfish, and I got the like audio visualizer for my voice. Um, so so yeah, the production of this podcast is not the best right now, but I that's intentional. I want it to just be kind of shit so that like I don't know, I don't care. It's low stress. I'm not putting hours and hours and hours into this. I'm doing the bare minimum, pretty much. And little by little I will add more to this podcast and it will get better over time. But I haven't done that yet. So yeah, like I said, little by little I'll work on it and I'll improve this podcast. I'll improve the quality. But for now, it's we're fine. We're chilling. It's you can hear what I'm saying, can't you? That's all that matters. I want to get background music of some kind. I want to so like Therapy Gecko has jazz music. I don't know if I want to do jazz music though. But that's good. Like I think it's cool that he has like it's background music. Whereas this, I'm just talking, and that's it. It's not. There's no background music at all. So I'd like to have some type of background track, or like, if not a background track, a background like playlist. And maybe that's just my own music. I just play my own music in the background. I don't know, but uh, and I could put together like a short playlist if because really I would only need like an hour or two's worth of music, probably like 2 hours worth of music, and then I just throw it on shuffle when I start the podcast, something like that. I don't know, and just turn it down where it's in the background. I think that'd be fun. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know yet. What all you know, what all I'm gonna do yet, but nevertheless, yeah, I want to master all five senses. So the three main ones I want to master is well, I guess two main ones. The two main ones I want to master are vision and sound. Smelling, I mean, that's just, I mean, I want to smell good, but it's not rocket science to smell good. You get cologne, take a shower and get cologne. You smell good. Um, and taste, I mean, I can cook decently well. And I'm not afraid to cook. Like some people are genuinely scared to like cook things or to try cooking something new. But if I find a recipe, that's the thing. I'm not going to cook something unless I have some type of recipe to go off of. Like I'm not going to just say, "Oh, I want to make this," and then just not research it. I research, find a recipe, follow the recipe, and then I'll play around with that recipe a little bit. I'll like take out a little bit or add something, or I'll try another recipe that's similar. So, um, yeah, I'll just kind of play around with it. And sometimes it's better than others, but yeah, I can cook decently well. So taste, um, and then just feeling. I mean, I don't know. I mean, my physical presence. I try to. I don't know. Like that's. I don't know what to. Well, I guess I'm pretty athletic. I'm decently fit. Um, I played sports growing up, and I don't really play sports anymore because I'm not. I'm older now. I'm an adult. I'm not a part of a sports team anymore. Um, but I could, I guess. I mean, I could like still go out and play soccer. I would need to. My cardio is very bad now. My cardio when I was in high school was really good because I was running a lot, but my cardio now is it's kind of bad. I'm not gonna lie. But overall, my fitness is like, I mean, I'm not fat at all. I'm actually arguably too skinny. I think I'm underweight technically, but I'm also not like anorexic where I'm like skin and bone. I feel like I'm like I said, decently fit. I'm decently proportionate. I could probably gain some more muscle. I need to yeah just bulk up a little bit more. Honestly, my body fat percentage is at a good percentage, or it's like a decent percentage. If I just like either tone up a little bit or probably bulk a little bit more, and then tone up a little bit, just gain a little bit more weight. Not a crazy amount, even just like 10 pounds. Just bulk up 10 pounds more of muscle, and or lose a little bit more fat and gain a little bit more muscle. I'd be chilling. I'd be at like ideal for my physical, uh, you know, anyway. But I'm also trying to get more flexible, stretching and shit. Dude, honestly, all right, anyone listening to this podcast right now, if you're laughing at me, yo, like stretch, you need to stretch, bro. If you All right, if you keep your back straight and you bend over to try to touch your toes, you start feeling it in like your hamstring, like in the back of your thigh. If you can't touch your toes, that's the problem. And if your back of your thigh is aching and you're barely bent over, just bending at the hip. Don't bend your back at all. Keep your back straight. Just bend at the hip. And yeah, so I actually have like the what's it called, like an inner popping hip or whatever. So like I can do it sometimes where like my hip will literally like pop, and it's basically just this muscle is too tight and it like jumps over a bone in your like pelvis. I don't know. Anyway, look it up. It's like inner popping hip or inner popping hip, something like that. I can't remember what it's called, but and that's like the unofficial name of it. But I've had that, and I looked it up, and I looked up like I don't know, just trying to learn more about um, that shit. And my lower back, all my life, I've had like lower back problems. Not all my life, but like I was really young. I guess I didn't, but I had figured out I had essentially been sitting wrong all this time. Um, so I was all right. I was sitting, and a lot of people sit this way. They'll sit like leaning back, and they'll sit like on their butt, basically. But you need to sit basically like on your thighs. Don't sit on your butt. Sit on your thighs. I, I don't know. I don't know if that's. I haven't heard anyone else say that, but in my opinion, that's the better way to sit. Is you sit like on your thighs. Um, if that makes any type of sense. But anyway, yeah, I'd basically been sitting wrong and walking wrong my whole life and standing wrong. Like just my whole back was messed up because my back wasn't straight, and I don't know, I didn't like realize it before. Like I knew my back wasn't straight, but I didn't understand what to do to fix it, and I didn't understand what good posture was. But now I don't even really. I haven't really. I mean, I know I've done more research about it, but I still need to do more. There's still more I need to know and more I need to learn. But I understand it much more. And honestly, yeah, it like just fixing my posture and trying to be more flexible has, in my opinion, it has done like it has changed a lot about because it's thing is people would be like, "Oh, how is that going to actually help you with anything?" But your body, I think it's called lactic acid or something. I don't know, but basically, when you stretch a muscle that hasn't been stretched in a long time, it you feel it, and then like if you like really stretch it and whatnot, I don't know. It's just it's different. Like it genuinely does help your body. Like and it makes you feel better. I know that might sound like bullshit and like, oh, everybody says that, but it is it's science. It's not a because like all right, for instance, when you crack your back, like I think it's good to crack your back. Some people say you shouldn't crack your knuckles or you shouldn't crack your back. I think it's arguable as long as you're safe about it and you're not cracking your back in a bad way or you're not like cracking it too I guess hard. I don't know. As long as you're being safe about it, um, and you kind of know what you're doing when you're cracking your back, I think it's very good to crack your back. Especially my lower back cracks so much, and when it cracks, I can literally feel like the buildup of shit like releasing and just like you can literally feel it when I crack my lower back like that as I'm stretching and whatnot, and I'll stretch like, just trust. Every human, in my opinion, should be able to do a split at one point in their life. And that's when they're young, really. Like you should be able to, at least when you're young, you should be able to do a split. But realistically, you should be able to do a split into your like 50s, 60s, 70s, even, really. Like you should, I don't know, if not a split, you should be able to like get pretty low. You know what I'm saying? Or here's better, you should be able to do a deep squat, like ass to grass squat with good form. Every human should be able to do that, and most humans don't. Most humans do not have good form. They do not know how to squat. And I don't even go to the gym or anything. I'm honestly, I don't even want to go to the gym right now because I know my form is still bad. So I need to get better just with no weight. I need to improve my form and figure out, like my form is not bad. I am like improving it little by little. But once I do get a decent form and I can like do an ass to grass squat with relative ease, then I'm gonna start like adding more weight. I think, and not I say relative ease, not like I don't know. And honestly, that point I'm talking about is coming up soon, so I'm probably gonna start going to the gym sometime relatively soon. Find a time to maybe like 3 days a week. Yeah, maybe like 3 days a week. That'd be cool. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I know I'm talking about a bunch of random shit right now. Anyway, um, don't really have a ton more to talk about right now. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to master all five senses. So back to my point earlier, mastering all five senses. So vision, hearing, um, smell, kind of I guess, taste and feeling, or touch. Uh, the two most important one being vision and sound. So like music production and video production. I want to get better at like video production, and I want to get better at like taking pictures. I want to get a good camera, but they're just expensive. I want to get like a DSLR camera of some kind, but they're at least a few $100, if not like 1,000 or two. Um, I don't know though. They are cheaper now than what they used to be. So we'll see. I'll look for a decent camera sometime, and I don't need a crazy camera because I'm not like a professional photographer or anything, and I don't really want to be. I do want to do like I want to take good pictures. Like not necessarily like I don't necessarily have to be the bet like a professional at it, but I want to take pictures that can be it can be like it's on par with professional pictures. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Doesn't necessarily have to be quite as good as a professional picture, but I want it to look halfway professional, I guess, and halfway decent. So I want a decent camera that can take high quality pictures with like good color and whatnot. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. And I want to get better at sound production and just music production in general. I want to get better at sound engineering or sound design, I guess. I don't know. Um, just audio engineering as a whole, I guess. I want to get better at it, learn more. And like I said, video production, I want to get better at that. But I've gotten to a point now where I can do all that stuff. It's just not the best in the world. Like, it's just decent quality. But I can do all that stuff. And that, again, to my point earlier, that's crazy to me because that is unique. Whereas, like, a human 100 years ago couldn't do it by themselves like that. Like, I'm just doing this by myself. Like, just, I got my laptop and I have a computer as well. I have a decent setup, actually. It's not the greatest in the world, but it's not bad at all. It took me years to develop it, though, and to piece by piece kind of put it together. And also to think about it. But it's a pretty good setup now. I feel like I got my PC. I have an amp with some speakers, and I got a dual monitor set up, microphone hooked up to my PC. I have a Wi-Fi thing hooked up to my PC because I don't the motherboard doesn't have a Wi-Fi card. So and I have my keyboard and mouse, of course, and I've got plugs right here. So like I've got my laptop on my desk with like, and my PC is not on right now, but I just got my laptop on my desk and I got it charging with like all these plugs and I got other stuff plugged in right there. I don't know. Anyway, and my amp right here, I've got a port like for the headphones. So I just got these headphones not that long ago, and I can just plug them in right there. Yeah, not bad. Not bad setup. Not bad at all. I'm very lucky. Um, lucky to, I guess, have the opportunity to build a setup like this and to use a setup like this. But I mean, it took, like I said, it took years of research and years of learning to get to this point, and years of yeah, just dedicating my time to learning about computers and learning about technology, and learning about media production. And so, like now, I mentioned it last episode, the Polar Production shit. That's like, yeah, it's gonna be like a media production center, I guess, in a way. So we're just gonna be making shit. I don't know what all yet. Well, I know a few things, but I don't know all yet. Only God knows. Anyway, I've been recording for almost an hour. Um, I appreciate anyone who decided to listen to me ramble about a whole lot of nothing. I'd just be talking about random life and music. That's the point of this podcast. I'd just be talking about my life and just life in general. And I'd be talking about music because I like music. I like sound. I like just I don't know reality. I guess I like reality. Reality's kind of cool. A lot of people hate it, and a lot of people's realities suck. They do. And it's not their fault, but there are some people who their reality sucks, and it's their own fault, and that they did it. And that has been me and honestly, that's me partially right now. Part of my like reality overall is good and bad. There are good things and bad things, but yeah, mostly good. I feel like. Or it's about 50-50, but I try to look at the good things. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, I guess. I don't know. I try to be optimistic, but sometimes I'm glass half empty kind of guy. Sometimes. But I try to be glass half full. But anyway, yeah, I've been recording. It's almost an hour. It's about, I don't know, a few seconds away from hitting an hour. So, yeah, like I said, appreciate anyone who decided to listen to me ramble. yeah, I hope you guys have all the things you want in life. I hope you get I hope you get all the things you need. I hope you live a decent life. I hope you make a decent life for yourself because that's the only way you can live a decent life is you have to make it yourself. You have to make a life for yourself because you are the only one that can act in your life right now in this very moment. So, like me recording this podcast every week, I'm the only one that can record this podcast every week. It's my podcast. Like no one else is going to record it for me. So, yeah, I just got to do it. And I'm not like I want to do it. I genuinely, I don't know. I want to make a good podcast for people to listen to, and I don't know. I don't even know what the goal of this podcast really is. I'll just be talking. It's just, I guess it's a place for me to just talk about random things. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Um, that's all for now, I guess. I will see you guys next week. All right, peace.